Welcome, welcome everyone. It is 2 minutes after the hour, so we're going to get started. Everybody's so excited. I can't wait to introduce everybody to David Schmidt, or to have those that have already been part of the quantum field team get to spend more time with David Schmidt. You all will find, probably exactly like I find, any time with David Schmidt is great time. And I'm really excited today because we've got David Schmidt on the line. We also have Steve and Gina Merrit here today, and we're going to ask some really wonderful questions today of David about X39. So I'm going to kick it down to Gina and Steve in South Florida. Gina, are you there, sweetie?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Alex. Welcome, Quantum Field. This is exciting. Yes. I just want to encourage everybody, stop for a quick second, grab a notepad and pen. Yeah. This will be recorded, but you know, when you write things down, you really remember a lot more. These are going to be some great questions asked, and we're excited to be a part.
Yes, we are. Woo, woo. All right, you ready to get started? You want to say anything, Steve, before we get going?
You know what? I'm just excited for everyone. We got incredible momentum. But the great thing is today we're going to be learning. You know, a lot of you have been asking some incredible questions, and now you get to hear it right from the horse's mouth. Our great friend. And, you know, David, we got to meet him a while ago when we were deciding to come on over here. Let me tell you something. We were impressed. We were sold out as soon as we got to hear his vision and what he is all about to help position all of you to win and succeed in all areas of your life. So I'm so looking forward to hearing from him today and sharing him with all of you. So it's going to be an incredible afternoon.
Yes, it is.
So, hey.
So Steve, David, I think you're going to need to unmute. Sierra, you've got him on mute, correct, sweetheart?
Yes, I just asked him to unmute. He should be able to do that now. David, you got us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Woohoo! Hi, David.
Hey, David.
Hey, Onyx. Hey, Steve. Hey, Gina. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
We got some incredible friends of ours on here today, and they're just going to be so blessed to hear your vision and all you have to say about the X39 and LifeWave.
I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, first, many congratulations on the success that you're all having with your team. The growth has been, as you know, incredible. And congratulations on setting a new record and reaching senior presidential director in about 3 weeks. That's absolutely extraordinary.
Stellar.
Thank you.
Stellar. Speed of the leader, speed of the team. So it's really exciting for everybody. It's
for everyone.
Good for everyone. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so Gina, I think you're going to ask the first question, right?
Okay, yes. So we're super excited to have David on here today. Yeah. He is the owner, founder, inventor.
Yes.
This is a big deal for all of us. This is Quantum Field as a team. Yeah. We're going to be learning today all together. And David, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because there's a lot of people that don't know who you are, where you live, what you stand for, and we're really excited to share you with all of them.
Okay, well, thank you. That's, I suppose, a little bit of a difficult question to ask. You know, I always think of that movie Anger Management, where Jack Nicholson is interviewing Adam Sandler, and he says, well, tell us about who you are. And, you know, the answer is kind of funny. But, you know, I think, so maybe the first thing to start out with is that I have a very deep belief and faith in God. And I always pray over every decision in business and in product development, and you know, look for guidance in my life about what is going to be best for the greater good, and what's always the best way to proceed. And that's really important because in being an inventor, you know, I would say I used to think I was a really good inventor and I was designing all these really cool things. And today, you know, I'm blessed to have over 130 patents, and that portfolio is growing all the time. But then, you know, at some point, I realized that all of these things were happening through divine guidance and divine inspiration. So I kind of look at myself now as just a facilitator of getting downloads of ideas from the divine and then implementing those things. So that might be something that people would want to know about me. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life. And before LifeWave, which is, we just had our 20-year anniversary on July 13th of 2002 at the founding of the company. So just prior to that, I was developing and designing equipment for the US Navy through government contractors. And a lot of that experience was extraordinarily beneficial in laying the foundations for what later would become LifeWave. And so, yeah, it's been an amazing journey the last 20 years. I love network marketing. I never thought I'd be the CEO of a network marketing company. It's changed my life for the better in so many different ways, and really just happy to be a part of this journey.
Okay, man, that was incredible, incredible. And I love the story, how you, started inspiring yourself with this X39 patch, came all the way back from the government. They hired you to come up with ways to keep the sailors awake on the Navy, right, ship, on the submarines. But now, what would inspired you to start LifeWave and to get it started? What was kind of your inspiration, so people can kind of hear the background of the company and what inspired you to get moving forward on it?
Yeah, so, at the time I had a company with 4 other guys, and we were doing pretty well with it. We were designing emergency power generation systems. I had invented this revolutionary emergency oxygen supply for submarines. And we had a nice business going. And what happened was I invented a technology that wasn't supposed to work. And I demonstrated this at General Dynamics. And the head of one of the divisions there approached me and said, I really like that you're an out-of-the-box thinker. I want to invite you to this development team that we have. We're developing a mini sub for Navy SEALs. And I'd like to see if you could make a contribution to it. And so I worked for about 3 years and developed LifeWave technology over that period of time. What happened, though, was that 9/11 hit. And the government and government contractors were focusing on weapons and deployment of those weapons. And because we were in survival equipment, nobody really had time for us. So I went about 8-9 months, and our business had just completely stalled. And I thought, okay, I've got a family to support, and there's no telling when this is all going to clear up. So I might just take this patch technology, and maybe civilians are interested in burning fat, in a new way. Maybe we could find a market for that. And so I started to approach people. They said, oh my God, we're so excited about this tech. And so I set up a company. I spent 2 years doing clinical studies, setting up manufacturing, doing market research. And then eventually, LifeWave was born out of that experience.
That's awesome, David. So what was it that helped you decide that you wanted to sell the patches through network marketing? I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you could have sold these amazing patches. Why would you pick network marketing?
Yeah, I never was going to pick network marketing. That's the really funny part. Sometimes, there's experiences that occur in your life where you think maybe God sits back and laughs a little bit about the journey that people take. But I had decided, I really wasn't even thinking about networking. I thought that maybe we should go some traditional methods of marketing in retail stores, on the radio, through infomercial and all that. And I investigated all those things. And I was going to a trade show, to the Mr. Olympia contest. And actually, I had made the acquaintance of Ronnie Coleman, who was an 8-time Mr. Olympia, and he was interested in endorsing the patches. So I went out there and I thought, okay, there's going to be 5,000-6,000 people that are potential prospects for being interested in our energy patches. And on the plane ride out, I was living in Georgia at the time, and on the ride from Georgia out to Las Vegas, where the conference was, I sat next to this fellow, Dave Savola, who was a top money earner in prepaid legal. And so he and I got to talking, and he said, "You have the perfect product for network marketing." And I said, "Oh, I've heard about networking. I would never be interested. This product, I'm going to do things with integrity. I don't want anything to do with networking." But what happened along the way was I had lunch with a business friend, and he got really excited. He introduced the technology to one of his friends. One of his friends bumped into a guy that was in a movie theater, started up a conversation, and he said, "Oh, I might be interested in investing in that." So I met with that fellow, and then he said, "Well, I'd like to have a medical doctor review the technology." I spoke with him. The doctor got excited and said, "I know a doctor out in California. I want to introduce it to him." And then that doctor took it to Richard Quick, a 6-time US Olympic coach. And 3 weeks after that initial lunch meeting, I was putting patches on Olympic athletes at Stanford University. And, you know, didn't take a scientist to realize that had all happened because of networking. And so it was at that point where I thought, okay, if you could run a network marketing company with integrity, do the clinical studies, do everything the right way, this could be a phenomenal way to share this product. And so that's really how it happened.
Well, thank goodness it happened that
Wow,
way.
yeah,
for all
thank
of
goodness.
us,
The Lord,
right?
you did that. Excellent.
Thank goodness.
Wow, what a story.
That
What
was-
a
Yeah.
story.
So we feel really blessed and highly favored that
Yeah.
it went to network marketing. We are so
Same.
excited.
Same.
So this next question will really stump you. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
How
I'll do my
does
best.
the X39 patch work?
So all of our patches are based on a phenomena that I discovered, and it's a form of low-level light therapy. So the patches contain organic materials. They're stereoisomers of amino acids, sugars, and other natural materials. And they're processed in a way so that when they're activated by body heat, they will stimulate the skin with very low levels of light. This is a phenomena in science called photobiomodulation. Most people know it by you go in the sun, and especially here in Florida, and sunlight is going to cause our body to make vitamin D. Or sunlight is going to give us a tan. And the tan, of course, is melanin, and melanin is an antioxidant that protects the skin from damage. So this all means that we can use light to increase production of different beneficial antioxidants or hormones or proteins in the body, and we can improve our health that way. So the X39 patch stimulates the skin with light once you apply it to the body, and these specific wavelengths of light will cause an increase in a peptide called GHKCU, or copper peptide. And copper peptide is a naturally occurring peptide. It declines with age. So when we're in our 20s, the levels of this peptide are about 200 nanograms per mil. Whereas when we get over the age of 60, it drops off to about 60 nanograms or so. So we see decreases of 60, 80% after the age of 60 and 70. And the problem with this is that copper peptide is a master regulator of gene expression in the body. And when we're looking at staying young as long as possible, or even reversing the aging process, part of this is going to be, can we recapture the genes that we lost to time? And the exciting thing is, yes, we can. And it's peptides like copper peptide that reset thousands of genes to a more youthful state. So X39 elevates copper peptide. Copper peptide resets thousands of genes to a more youthful state. And that explains why it has such broad effects such as supporting immune health, elevating collagen production, improving energy production, relieving pain, reducing inflammation, speeding the wound healing process, and many, many other things.
Hey, that's incredible information for us. I actually got two questions, one that I didn't have written down. Why do we see in just the short time that we've been in, just over 3 weeks, we're seeing people that are seeing results much more quickly than, say, a supplement or something that they're taking, could be, an over-counter pain relief product or whatever. It seems like a gentleman came to us yesterday, said he's had a back issue for years. He put the patch on, within an hour, he's feeling relief.
Yeah, this has been probably the most fun part of the business, is that prior to X39, and X39 just took this to another level, but prior to X39, we built the business for years on pain management. And we would do, we get 400 people in a room, and we'd get 20, 30 people up on stage, and in 2 to 3 minutes, we see 50 to 100% relief of pain. And of course, back in those days, we were using Ice Wave and Eon to do the pain relief demonstrations. We would do those a little bit differently today. But the reason is because the human body uses light as a means for communication. This has been known actually for thousands of years as an observation, but scientifically, it was a fellow by the name of Fritz Popp in Germany who found that all living cells, plant, animal, human cells, are emitting light. They're coming from the DNA. And the reason is that these highly coherent pulses of light are used as signaling mechanisms in the cell. So that means that we can use light to trigger biochemical reactions, and we don't have to rely on absorption of nutrients into the body. It happens just by stimulating the skin. And what we saw in our clinical studies, which are over 80 clinical studies now, is that within the first 24 hours of wearing X39, levels of copper peptide go up 30 to 40%. So it's much, much faster than if you were to take a supplement.
Right. Great. And how many patches can somebody wear at a time? That's a question we get coming up every day. How many patches can I wear?
How many X39s can they put on?
How many X39 patches can I wear?
Well, the exciting thing, I suppose, is that our studies have all been done with one X39 patch. You don't have to cover your body in them. It doesn't mean that more is better. I would say that this is still an area of study. However, probably with very, very few exceptions, one X39 patch is enough. On some of the other patches, we can do a training at another time, but there's some very sophisticated ways to use these tools to relieve pain and manage symptoms. But with X39, one patch is enough.
So I've been here for almost 3 years, David. I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary. Can you believe it? Wow. And I know the answer to this, but I think it's great for everybody to hear from you. Why is it that we put the X39 on and we wear it for 12 hours? Why do we take it off after 12 hours?
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic question. And this is based on a phenomena called attenuation. And so in phototherapy, when you're stimulating the skin with light, if you continue to stimulate the skin all the time, the body eventually stops responding. A way that most people would relate to this is, let's say that you drink coffee, right? Which I don't really recommend people drink a lot of coffee. But let's say you have some caffeine and you get wired from it, and then you drink another cup and you get a little bit of an effect. Maybe you drink another cup and you're drinking coffee every day, and then all of a sudden it's not waking you up anymore. The body accommodates or adjusts to this. And we see the same phenomena in light therapy, that if you continue stimulating the body, it eventually stops responding. So what we found as a practical matter is that if people wore the patches for 12 hours and then removed them and then applied them the next day, they would continue responding to the patches. So the other reason to it is that the patches work by being activated by body heat. And so the patches are not like a Band-Aid. They don't breathe, they trap heat. And so if you leave them on for more than 12 hours, they can cause a mild irritation of the skin after, let's say, more than 18 hours. So it's nothing, of course, serious, but that's another reason why we don't want people wearing them, 24 hours a day.
So wear it for 12 hours, take it off, throw it away. As I like to say, rest and rejuvenate for 12 hours, and then put a fresh patch on. Me, I keep my patches right next to my toothbrush. So when I brush my teeth in the morning, I put it on. And then at night when I brush my teeth, I take it right back off. So for me, that's the easiest way to remember.
Yeah, perfect.
So the next question is, can you tell us a little bit about the adhesive that's used on the X39 patch?
Yeah, so everything we use in the manufacture of the patches are medical grade. Our facilities are governed and are set up as manufacturing medical devices. And so they would qualify for that. And in this particular case, the adhesive is a hypoallergenic adhesive. It's an acrylate adhesive, and it's manufactured by 3M. About 1 in 10,000 people are allergic to the adhesive, and this is the same as any Band-Aid. So if someone has an allergic, there's no latex in it, it's a synthetic. So if anyone is allergic to the adhesive that's used in Band-Aids, they might be allergic to the patches. But the good thing is that it doesn't have to come in contact with the skin. You can always place the patch on the inside of the clothing so it's facing the skin, and it will still work.
What? Did you say that again, please, David?
Again.
I don't have to use the stick? The stick doesn't matter?
The stick is not, it's only there to keep the patch close to the skin. If you wanted to apply it to your clothing, on the inside of the clothing, so the patch is in contact with the skin, then it will work just fine.
Wow.
Now,
Pretty cool, right? That's technology.
Yeah.
I'm highly allergic to any tape, Band-Aids, anything, and I have not had one reaction for those who are listening. So I'm the testimony of that.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, we wanted to know too, you've got all these case studies, which we're really impressed, and I really love the sophistication for any type of a high-end therapist or doctor that is promoting the product. What's your favorite X39 case study that maybe we'd all really like to hear about?
There's a few. I would have to say my favorite, if I had to pin one down, would be the first blood study that we did. That's one of those aha moments where you say, okay, I created this thing, we put it through some preliminary testing, it shows there's a bioelectrical effect, but the moment of truth is it going to elevate this peptide in the blood or not? Because then you find out you really have something or you don't. So we had done an initial pilot study, and that's posted on our website. And we found out, in fact, that it does elevate copper peptide to statistical significance. And then we went back and we did a 60-person double-blind placebo-controlled study. Again, we hit statistical significance. And so those were pretty exciting. And it was 18 months to develop the protocols for measuring copper peptide in the blood. They didn't exist. We had to contact Lauren Picard, who was the discoverer of copper peptide. And he couldn't really provide us with sufficient guidance on how we wanted to measure it. So it was a long journey to do that first study on X39, and it was a huge relief to find out, okay, we're not imagining what we're seeing. This is really elevating copper peptide.
Wow, that's incredible.
That blood study showed other things, didn't it, David? I think I read about that in the story of X39, that book that I share with so many of you all.
Right. Yeah, there were a number of things that came for that. The first thing is in the blood study, we wanted to measure both GHK and GHK-Cu. And that would tell us a lot about how the patch is working. And both GHK and GHK-Cu have beneficial metabolic effects in the body. And what happens is that there's a number of really interesting things here. Of course, people have copper and iron in their blood. And what happens with X39 is that it first elevates GHK, and then GHK has a very high affinity for binding with copper, so it will bind with that copper. And one interesting thing about it is because of the ratio of iron to copper in the blood, this is especially beneficial for men in that it can help to keep high iron levels in check in the blood. And that's actually very important, because as men age and their iron levels tend to be a little bit higher than women, that extra iron can cause free radical damage in the body and lead to things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease and arthritis. It's really bad. So copper peptide is able to regulate, through mobilization of copper, the levels of iron in the body and reduce, it's actually through ferritin, and it reduces, ends up reducing oxidative stress. So yeah, that was one of the things that we learned in the initial blood study. Then, of course, the urine studies that we did revealed tremendous amounts of information on how X39 is increasing the metabolic rate of different amino acids in the body. And this, of course, is important in formation of new collagen, which improves wound healing, reduces the appearance of lines and wrinkles, increasing metabolism of leucine, which is necessary for muscle protein synthesis, among some other things. And we even found that X39 in those studies was increasing GABA. And that explains why people wear X39 and all of a sudden the quality of their sleep is improving.
Yep, that makes sense. That's cool.
Wow.
So is there a difference if people are going to use X39 for them to wear it 12 hours during the day versus 12 hours at night, choosing day versus night?
Yeah, so our studies have all been done with people wearing X39 during the day. Now, from a technical perspective, there's probably not a reason why someone couldn't wear X39 at night, but we don't have a study to support that. But from on a technical basis, there shouldn't be an issue with it. But as a practical matter, we recommend people using X39 during the day because that's what our studies support.
Okay.
Okay, the next question. Is it possible that X39 can protect us against 5G?
So we do have some preliminary data to that effect. And we've been exploring this with X39 and X49. Wow. And here was the hypothesis that I had about this, is that first, I'm really glad that you asked the question, because we know that 5G is becoming a very serious problem today, and people aren't looking at what are the immediate and the potential long-term effects of this. We know going back through 2G and 3G networks that there was work done at the University of Colorado School of Medicine showing tissue heating in the brain for people that were keeping their cell phones up against their head. We had done clinical studies a number of years ago, and we were working with SGS, and they're a very, very well-known testing lab like UL, for example. And we wanted to look at these tissue heating properties of the radiation that's coming out of cell phones. So, one thing that would be important for people to know is that cell phones are using the same frequency as a microwave oven, 2.4 gigahertz. And the reason why a microwave is able to heat water or vegetables or whatever you put in there, which you shouldn't, is that it's causing the water molecules to rotate. And this creates friction in the water, which creates the heating. So the microwave is inductively transferring energy from the microwave head over into whatever is inside the microwave oven. So you get that transfer of energy. And it's really no different than with the human body. So, first thing that I would recommend is that people do not put their cell phones up against their head. Keep it on speaker, keep it away from the body. But, the problem, of course, is that we're now living in this environment where Bluetooth, 5G, Wi-Fi is everywhere.
Yeah.
And what do? Well, God has given us the ability to adapt. And, human beings have been able to adapt to some pretty extraordinary things over the past, how many thousands of years, however long it's been, right? Human beings have been able to adapt and survive. And my personal belief is that we have the ability to be upgraded and to adapt. So how would we go about this? Well, in physics, if we wanted to isolate, we wanted to perform an experiment and we wanted to isolate something from electromagnetic radiation, we would use what's called a Faraday cage. And a Faraday cage would be a copper screen that's grounded. So you put something inside this box made of a copper mesh, and then you ground it, and electromagnetic energy can't get through. And so as I began to think about this, I thought, well, the skin is loaded with copper peptide, and it decreases with age. And there's actually two different forms of copper peptide that we work with, GHK and AHK. They're both found in the skin. They both have benefits for the skin, but they both have some extraordinary effects. They're related to one another. They're like a mother-daughter peptide relationship. One is very broad, one's a little bit more narrow. But I thought, okay, maybe what we could do by elevating both of these peptides simultaneously is form a network of the peptides in the skin that will act like a Faraday cage. So Onyx was kind enough to refer me to a biochemist that was very interested in doing this work. I contacted a medical doctor that I knew that is heavily involved in energy medicine and has patients that are electromagnetically sensitive. And I said, okay, let's go ahead and see if this hypothesis could prove to be true. So we started to get some data back from the biochemist and from that study saying, yeah, there is an effect here. People that are wearing X39 and X49 are getting a reduction in their sensitivity to 5G. Then went to the medical doctor and said, hey, you've really got something here. What I'm finding with my patients is that about 3 days after they start using X39 and X49, their symptoms from 5G are disappearing. So I would say we haven't proven yet that it is an effective means to block against 5G, but we certainly have some evidence that looks like it's going in that direction, that they are going to be useful tools in helping to protect people from this.
David, that sounds incredible. That's
Amazing, right?
For major,
amazing.
major, because everyone needs this. And that kind of just goes, I was going to ask you this question to go along with it is, some people, like, they put the patch on and they're expecting something to happen right that minute. But after all this information you just given us in this short period of time, it really proves how important it is just to have the patch on as far as, what's going on in your body. Can you kind of help everyone, give us some of your insights? You've already given us some great stuff, but maybe someone's not seeing the result they want right away, but what is happening to their body with all their stem cells being regrown, they might not even be noticing.
Yeah, so I would recommend that before people start using X39, they write down what their energy levels are like, the quality of their sleep. Do they have any aches and pains? Do they have any injuries that were recent or, you know, from many, many years ago? Create a profile and also take pictures in good lighting. And then after the first 24 hours, you know, come back and of using X39, come back and see, well, yeah, did I have that lull at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Or did I notice that, you know, I had energy up until 10 o'clock at night? Am I noticing that some of those aches and pains are going? What was the quality of my sleep like? You know, do the analysis after the first 24 hours, after the first week, and then after the first month. And we see some extraordinary things after about 3 months of using the patch relative to the quality of the skin. I have some of those pictures if you'd like to see them. But yeah, generally speaking, over 85% of the people that use X39, their first 7 days are going to notice improvements in energy, quality of sleep, reduction in pain, and recovery from exercise and some other things.
David,
Wow.
you also did a study with the brain that much of this group is very young. Some of this group have been here for 2-3 years, and some of them have only been here for 3 weeks. But I bet they would love to hear a little bit about the scientific study you did with the brain, because it was fascinating, you all.
Yeah, actually, I can show those pictures if you, if I can share screen.
Is he able to share screen, Sierra?
I think so. Just scroll down and you'll see you can share.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make you co-host to be able to do it.
Is that okay, David?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
you're official co-host now.
All right, here we go. Okay. Yeah, so this was an exciting study. This was done, by the way, with Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. I've been working with Dr. Chevalier for over 10 years now. I think it's maybe approaching 14 years. He's a brilliant guy. He's a nuclear engineer, and he was involved in nuclear fusion research at UCLA. And his specialty is laser spectroscopy. And he's since gotten involved in the effects of light on the human body, and that's how we got together to do some studies. So he's a brilliant guy, and in this study, we used a multi-channel EEG, a P3 system, for those that might be familiar with it. This was the pilot study, and then we later went on to do a double blind, and we wanted to work with people over the age of 50. So, you know, no surprise, what happens as we age is that most people will experience some type of age-related cognitive decline. Some of this is through declines in mitochondrial function, changes in hormone levels, lack of exercise, poor diet, and other things. And we wanted to find out, could we reverse this? And, you know, we think about how important this is, that as people get over the age of 50 and 60, one of the things they really fear is, am I going to lose my mental faculties? And if we could reverse that so that people could be, you know, 70, 80, 90 and above and not have any loss in their cognitive abilities, you know, that would be a remarkable contribution, much less anything else. So here's an example of a woman, 77 years old, and session 1 is at baseline. And at 77, you really don't see very much stem cell activity in the body. The cells have reached what's called the Hayflick limit. They've stopped dividing. The integrity and the quality of the stem cells is extraordinarily poor. And this is when, you know, why when people get older, you get a broken bone, you may not really recover. So, or you don't recover very well. So session 1 was at baseline. And what we're seeing with these red areas is a lack of brain coherence, or the ability of different regions of the brain to communicate with one another. And this has an incredible impact on health. Session 2 is after only 3 weeks of using X39, where we see a dramatic improvement in brain coherence, and the effect gets even better after session 3. And I asked Dr. Chevalier, what would it take to see this type of transformation outside of X39? And he said, he said, first, it never happens. And second, you would expect someone to be on very heavy nutritional intervention, exercise program, EEG work for maybe 9 to 12 months to see anything even, remotely close to this. So he was extraordinarily impressed. And he has spoken at our conferences in the past on LifeWave. This was a gentleman, 67. Not everyone responds the same way. And in this case, he was wearing the patch below the belly button. And again, we can see the same problem with brain coherence in session 1. But again, after 3 weeks, there's definitely an improvement. And the improvements are going to show up as better mental clarity, better focus, and calmness, better sleep. And then, of course, after 6 weeks, we see that there is a dramatic improvement. So this is just all to say most people are going to see results the first few weeks. Some people need a little bit longer.
Wow, that's
Fantastic.
incredible.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing, David.
Well, that really helps everybody here who really wants to create a business using the X39 with retention. Does that tell you how important it is to keep this patch on and don't look left or right? Make sure you brush those teeth and put your patch on every morning. I've been wearing it almost 3
She taught
months.
us well.
And I always can't wait to put the patch on every morning. So those of you that are just getting started, you can see. And now take a look at this. That's the first time I saw that study. Thank you, David. That was incredible. And once you all realize, and once this message and the video and everyone's knowledge that happened today, we'll go back to Gina's question that she asked you, David, when we were talking to you to begin with the X39 results that everybody's having and the quantum team just exploding out there. We want to make sure that we can keep up with production. Can you kind of tell us where you manufacture and how you're positioned? We see this hitting $1 billion a year very quickly, and can LifeWave keep up with all of us promoting your incredible product?
So fortunately, we have a number of people on our team that have expertise and huge experience in manufacturing. So the gentleman that runs our manufacturing facility in Ireland, Coleman Dillon, he had been in the pharmaceutical industry and the medical device industry for about 25 years. And he was involved in the manufacture of those products. And in fact, we have a team of people that came from the medical device and the pharma industry to run our manufacturing facilities. So the first thing is our manufacturing facilities are the same as what you would find at a drug manufacturer or medical device manufacturer. It's made to those standards. Secondly, we have continually upgraded our facilities over the years. We started manufacturing in the United States, and we started with a semi-automated process and then eventually moved to an automated process. And as business began to grow, in and about 2009, we made plans to open up a second manufacturing facility in Ireland. And that facility has grown. It started as a 25,000 square foot facility. Then we took on a second building, and now we're going on our third building, and we have over 70,000 square feet of manufacturing space. Yeah, it's a campus at this point. And we're actually the largest employer in Athenry, Ireland, which is in Galway County on the west coast of Ireland. Really beautiful place. So our equipment, I'm over in Europe right now, and one of the things that we're doing is we're upgrading our manufacturing facilities with state-of-the-art robotics. And we have a fully automated system today, but the new equipment that we invested in
It's about $2.5–3 million. And what it features are these robotic arms that come down and, faster than the eye can see, they sweep the patches into an envelope, and then the envelope gets sealed by the robotics. And that means it's approximately 3 to 5 times faster than the existing equipment. So this is all to say that we invested when we saw X39 taking off. Our sales this year, actually our sales last year were over 10 times higher than they were in 2018. So we made plans to upgrade. So as of today, we could support a company doing more than $1 billion a year in sales. So we're already there from a manufacturing perspective, and we put in this new space because we expect to expand with equipment, well beyond that.
That's so cool, right?
Excellent.
So you're telling me, David, we don't need to wait to get bottles from China or this and that from China. You actually have all of it there, that if we want to put on $1 billion in sales, you're ready for us?
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I don't have anything against the Chinese people, but I do have a strong love for the people of Taiwan. We have an office there. I have friends that live in Taiwan. People in Taiwan are great people, and I've said to my staff, I would prefer not to purchase anything from China, given the situation in the world today. And we want to be as independent as possible.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Well, this has been an amazing call, and we have a really fun event I know coming up called Convention. And that's in August, you all, the middle of August in Orlando. And I'm excited. I know Steve and Gina are excited. I know we have been promoting, frankly, with the Quantum Field Group, we've been promoting for months, and we're going to have a massive, massive group there. Steve and Gina's team is much younger. They're only like 3 weeks old, but they've already got a ton of people coming. I just wanted to ask, what can everybody expect when they make the time to come spend the time with us? Besides, they can hug Steve and Gina, and they get to hug me, and we get to hug each other, and I can't wait to be together again, which is so fun. What can they expect by coming and actually being live with us in Orlando?
It's going to be amazing. First, I'm going to tell you, and this is not exaggerating at all, you're going to see something at convention you've never seen at any convention in the network marketing industry. I am going to be bringing a piece of technology from my laboratory that I'm going to be unveiling, and it is going to paint a picture of what is coming in the years ahead with the company. It's going to be, I'm really looking forward to unveiling this. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And our community is going to say, okay, I really get where this company is at, why it's different, and exactly where we're going and how we're going to use technology, innovation, protecting the innovation with patents and making it exclusive to Lifewave community, how we're going to continue to build and build on the opportunity. Also,
we have prepared a free gift to all those in attendance. It is going to be well worth the price of admission. And that's something that's coming from our lab. You can't buy it. It doesn't exist anyplace else, but I wanted to have a special thank you, something from me to our members for attending this year. So they're going to get something, everyone's going to get something from the laboratory, and they're really going to love it. Of course, we're going to have great speakers there where we're going to be talking about ways to build the business. Of course, we've got great leadership talks. As you know, we have special guest speakers, and probably a few other surprises.
Are we having a party?
We're definitely having a party.
A nighttime party, right?
I was coerced into purchasing a tuxedo.
Yay!
I would just assume, show up in jeans and a t-shirt and a lab coat, but my staff would prefer I don't do that. But yeah, no, we're going to have a gala event. We have entertainment, which is going to be phenomenal. We're going to have a extraordinary recognition session. This year, I wanted to do something really fun with recognition. And so there are going to be 5 lucky people that are going to get something that we made in our laboratory as a recognition gift. You can't buy it or get it anyplace else. It's coming from our lab. That's one of the things we're doing with recognition. And then we'll have a huge party that will follow that. So it's going to be great.
I can tell you, last year's gala event was so much fun. We were coming out of the, the pandemic, and everybody had been locked up. The band was amazing. It was beautiful. And all we did was dance and dance and dance and dance. Did I mention we danced some more? We danced some more. We had so much fun together. We had so much fun together. So thank you so much for putting that gala together again. I'm excited to see what this will be like this year.
Absolutely.
So this has been a beautiful call full of so much fantastic information. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for blessing us with this beautiful X39 patch. The quantum field group continues to explode because we focus exclusively on the X39, and it grows and grows the business because, as we've seen, this product really, really works. So I send love and light to you, David. Thank you for all you do for me. Thank you for all you do for all of us. And thank you for all you do for the billions of families that each one of us will help all of us touch as we move forward together as a group. So I'm really and honored to
believe me, Onyx, it's my privilege. It's my pleasure. I get to be in the lab, inventing, developing, and looking at building the future with the company. And one of the things I'm going to do for our new members at convention is get into quite a bit of detail about what they can expect for the future of LifeWave. And, a lot of this is being driven, by this idea that we can transform the networking industry through innovation and offer people technology that they can't get anyplace else. And it's technology that's not only good for them, but great for the planet. And in fact, we can transform the planet through some of the things that we're doing. So, for me, it's an absolute privilege to be part of this journey. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful for everything you and Steve and Gina and your team are doing.
Well, this team is full of so many great leaders, Marcy and Peter and Steve and Gina, and there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of Beamy and Bart, and there's so many SPDs and PDs, and it's been exploding and exploding, and it's exploding even more as we continue to grow. So thank you so much for creating an environment for all of us to grow and to prosper together. Thank you so much for giving us a community for light workers to be together. We are blessed to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
everybody
guys.
have a fantastic
great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Steve. Thank
Get
you.
out there and share this
Thank you.
amazing product, guys. You got
Woo!
opportunity in your hands.
Yes. All right. We'll see everybody on Wednesday night. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Have a great night.